Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 22nd, and welcome back to the Nick Watkins Show. I'm Nick Watkins. Let's get into it. We have a huge day, lots of stuff to talk about, not a lot of time to do so let's just jump right in. We're going to go baseball, then basketball, then hockey. That's the order. Here's the baseball from yesterday. The San Francisco Giants beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 3-1 last night. Giants had 3 runs on 6 hits and no errors. The Dodgers had 1 run on 3 hits. They committed an error, and the first Giants-Dodgers meeting of the year goes to the good guys by a final score of 3-1. There's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about in this game. I think the big picture is a huge win for the Giants. Coming off of that road trip, a 9-game road trip where we started out not playing well and we kind of found ourselves in the latter half. Looks like from this game that has transitioned over to this now homestand with the Dodgers and the Marlins coming in. But this is a big win. This is the best team in baseball, and we just took them down. Only allowed 1 run to probably the best offense in baseball. This is a big win for the Giants. A big win in terms of the standings. Yes, always good to get a win. Always good to beat your rival, especially division rival. But also in terms of the Giants looked good yesterday against the best team in baseball. And all the struggles from the earlier season are definitely not gone. They're not magically solved. There are still struggles. However, this is a big turnaround from dropping all those games early on and pressing the panic button to now, beating the best team in baseball. In a pretty good performance. So I'm definitely happy about that. Definitely happy that this identity that the Giants are trying to create was shown in this game by having a very good first inning and then having great pitching performance after that. Very happy with this win. I definitely hope it can continue for the rest of the series, especially, and also the rest of the homestand. Taking the first game in a 3-game series is definitely key, and you want to win every series from here on out, especially against the Dodgers. Very good win. Very happy about this win yesterday. Let's talk about Landon Roop. Yesterday was Landon Roop's. Well, let's put it this way. Um, Yesterday, Landon Roop announced himself to the baseball world. Us Giants fans, we're familiar with how good Landon Roop is and how good he could be still. But this performance against the best team in baseball, against the best offense in baseball, this was Landon Roop's coming out party. He was very good against the Reds. That was his last start before this, which is incredibly good. That is against one of the worst offense, like not a very good offense. They were struggling. This is the best offense in baseball, and Roop went 5 solid innings. He only allowed 1 hit and 1 run. He did walk 5 batters, but he did strike out 7. So he pitched 5 innings. The first, second, third, and fifth innings were incredible. The fourth inning got away from him a little bit. He allowed 1 run to score, did not allow a hit, but he walked the bases loaded and then walked in the next batter. He had to throw, 32 pitches in the inning. So if you take away the fourth inning, Landon Roop was 100% on point. But the especially impressive part is not only it was very impressive what he did in 4 of the 5 innings of his outing, but in that terrible, rough inning where he walked the bases loaded, he only allowed 1 run to score off of that, getting a huge double play to end the inning. So that there's positives from both the great and the not so good from Landon Roop's performance because he did strike out Ohtani twice and made him look ugly on 2 of the swings. He also struck out Tucker as well, and he struck out a lot of batters, struck out 7 over 5. So not only did he go after the really best player in baseball, made him look stupid on 2 strikeouts, but when he got into trouble, he managed to get out of it, only allowing 1 run. That was big, and Landon Roop, with this performance, striking out Ohtani and Tucker twice each, he announced himself to the baseball world as a legitimate good starter, and he can continue to improve up until the point where he can become a legitimate great starter in this league. And we've known how good Landon Roop is, but the league is going to look at this point and say this is where Landon Roop really announced himself. And I think he's only going to get better from here. If you take away the fourth inning, he could have gone much deeper and dominated more. Fantastic start from Landon Root, and the baseball world is going to start to take notice of what this kid does whenever he goes out there every fifth day. All right. I also want to shout out the bullpen because the bullpen was very good. They did not allow a run. Um, the first pitcher out of the pen was Barucki, who had his struggles, um, especially with good teams. I mean, you remember the Phillies game, but Barucki pitched a scoreless inning. Matt Gage came in, and and he didn't want to come out of the game because he had 7, 8, 9. He ended up walking the 9 hitter, and then he got pulled so Miller could come in and face Otani. But Gage did a good job. No runs, of course. Eric Miller came in, and I can't remember if I talked about this multiple times on the show. I'm sure I've mentioned it. Eric Miller, historically, has major ownage against Shohei Otani. Unfortunately, Shohei did get a hit in this one, so that brings lifetime to Shohei's 2 for 7 against Miller with 2 infield singles and 5 strikeouts. However, Eric Miller struck out Kyle Tucker with 2 men on to end the inning, made him look stupid on a sinker down at the knees. So good inning from Eric Miller. He got a hold in this one. And then Keaton Wynn came in. He pitched point 0.1 innings. He only faced one batter, and he struck out Will Smith, one of the best hitting catchers in baseball. So a nice little outing there, and his arm's going to be fresh. And then this is the most important result from the bullpen guys. Ryan Walker, 1 inning pitched, no base runners, 2 strikeouts, and he went after the guys he was going up against. It was 7, 8, 9. However, if you let one of those guys get aboard, all of a sudden Otani's coming up as the tying run. And what did he do? He went out there and he got 2 strikeouts and got a flyout to end the ball game. Struck out Freeland, got him swinging to end the ball game. Huge save for Ryan Walker, his second of the year. This might be probably the biggest save of Ryan Walker's career, considering where he's at in this season, all the hate he's been getting for his performance, where he has not looked good in his save opportunities. This is a different Ryan Walker. This is the Ryan Walker that earned the closer's job in 2024, the Ryan Walker that was dominant. And if we can get more of this Ryan Walker, then he can close games. The question is, are all the problems fixed? I'm not sure, but this is a very good step in the right direction for him for the season, like big picture, but also in terms of this just one outing. He did everything he had to do. He went 1, 2, 3, struck out 2, prevented Otani and Tucker from getting another at bat in the game, and got the save in a rivalry game against the Dodgers. Big performance from Ryan Walker and the entire bullpen. Barucki, Gage, Miller, Wynn, and Walker, all very good, very fantastic. The winning pitcher in the game was Landon Root, who was 4-1. Losing pitcher Yamamoto, who goes to 2-2 on the year. 7 innings, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts. The Giants only had 6 hits in this game, and they only had 3 walks. Yamamoto really got into a groove after the first time through the order, but the Giants jumped on him. They got the bases loaded with nobody out and Rafi coming up. And what did Rafi do? He hit a single to score a run. Casey Schmidt hit a sac fly after a call, and Hernandez ran into each other, so Arraez able to score. And then Jung-Hoo Lee just roped a single into right field. Jung-Hoo Lee is continuing to make incredibly solid contact. Everything he hits is hard off the bat. I think he got injured yesterday. We'll have to see his status, but he got injured trying to slide into home. Hopefully he's all right. But even though it wasn't our greatest offensive performance, we did all of our damage in the first inning, which is kind of a positive and a negative because you score early off a great starter, but you can't do anything after that. It was enough. 3 runs was enough. You kind of want to see more, but I was very impressed with the Giants at bats in the first inning, and then Yamamoto, one of the best pitchers in baseball, got into a groove, and you couldn't really stop him from there. So you got the damage done early. That was a positive. Definitely looking for that in the future, but I mean, just big picture stuff. We've talked a lot about how the Giants are trying to establish this identity, trying to establish themselves as like tough, gritty team that plays with a chip on their shoulder and has an edge. And this is a continuation of that. We said coming into the game that you can say all you want, you can say you're that, but you can't be that unless you actually go out and play like that. Giants played like that yesterday. Tough, gritty performance, pitching wise and offensively, trying to grind out at bats. And even though offense wasn't the greatest, the first inning was very promising, and the pitching was elite once again. So Giants did a good job for this specific game and what it means, but also what it means for the bigger picture of the season. Fantastic win for the Orange and Black. All right, let's quickly go through some other scores around the league. The Guardians won 8-5. Winning pitcher was Palante. The losing pitcher was De Los Santos. I don't have time to do the pitching performances. We're going to have to just say the Brewers beat the Tigers 12-4. The Cardinals beat the Marlins 5-3. 12-6 Reds Rays. Yankees Red Sox 4-0. The Nats over the Braves 11-4. The Mets lost their 12th straight, but to the Twins 5-3. Cubs 7-4 over the Phillies. 6-5 Orioles over the Royals over the Orioles. And then the Pirates lost to the Rangers 1-5. I'm sorry, I don't have time for this. We're gonna have to just keep it going. I know nobody watches anyway, so apologies. But here is today's game. It's going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers at the San Francisco Giants, the second game in the 3-game series. I'm not necessarily too confident right now because of the pitching matchup. Shohei Ohtani going for the Dodgers and Tyler Mahle going for the Giants. Shohei Ohtani has been unbelievably good pitching this year, and Mahle has been not as good. Um, sorry. Yeah, Mahle hasn't been as good, and Otani's been really good, so I'm not necessarily encouraged in that fact. Also, because Otani's been pretty good against the Giants pitching, so I'm actually kind of nervous. I feel like this isn't our game. I feel like the Dodgers have the advantage. Obviously, you're gonna want to try and go out there and play well. However, I'm not feeling the most confident. I felt way more confident yesterday and for tomorrow's game based on the pitching matchup. But Molly's gonna have to have a good start eventually, and it might come today. So let's get into basketball. I said we're going to do that. We got like 15 minutes left. So let's talk about. We're going to have basketball and hockey all in 15 minutes. So here we go. The first game, the 76ers beat the Celtics 111-97. Very impressive win for the 76ers. Edgecombe had 30 and 10 rebounds. Maxey had 29. Paul George had 19. As for the Celtics, Jaylen Brown had 36. Very impressive win for the 76ers. The Celtics controlled basically the first quarter and most of the first half, but the 76ers went on a big, big shooting hot streak in the second quarter and then all throughout the rest of the game. They were very good shooting the 3-pointers, 48%, 47 in total field goal. Very impressed with the 76ers win yesterday. It kind of surprised me because I thought the Celtics were so good in game one that maybe the 76ers wouldn't have a chance in other games. But I was a big believer in the 76ers coming into the series. I think I said it would go six, and on pace for that to happen. So big win for 76ers. The other game, or other two games, the Blazers beat the Spurs 106-103. And you might be thinking, well, how does that happen? It's because Victor Wembanyama got hurt. He's in concussion protocol, going to be questionable for the next game. He came out, he only played 12 minutes. But, I mean, the Spurs were definitely still in it. They had the lead, 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, but the Blazers came all the way back to end up tying and winning the game. Scoot Henderson was the big story other than Wembanyama. 31 points in 38 minutes. Great game from Scoot Henderson. And as for the Spurs, rough game. Not only do you lose your best player, but you blow that big lead in the fourth quarter. Unsure of Wemby's status for the future. However, I will say I wouldn't be like obviously short term, if Wemby's okay, but I mean, look, I don't think that the Blazers are going to win this series, even with Wemby out. The real concern for San Antonio is the long term. Is Wemby going to be okay for future series? Is he going to be his normal self? That's the concern. you don't want to take the Blazers too lightly necessarily, but I do think the Spurs will still win the series, even if Wemby doesn't play for the majority. And then the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Houston Rockets 101-94. KD played in this game, and the Rockets still lost. So there are some serious problems going on. Houston, you have a problem because you had KD, he played 41 minutes, and you still lost. Uh-oh. The alarm bells are going off right now in Houston. As for the Lakers, LeBron once again very good, 28, 8 and 7. Kennard was good shooting. Marcus Smart had a nice game. Rockets, what are we doing here? How do you have KD and you still lose? And this is why I said that I thought since January I've been saying the Rockets are fraudulent, and they're proving me right here. So shout out them for sucking. But just I think if you look at all three of these NBA playoff games from yesterday, the common theme is the team that really wasn't favored to win, the 76ers, the Blazers, and you can make the argument for the Lakers, they all won. They all came to play yesterday, and they pulled off some major upsets. The 76ers, after getting crushed in game one, had a very good shooting performance and beat the Celtics by a good margin. The Blazers, they defied some expectations. No Wemby doesn't help the Spurs, but they still came back down double digits in the fourth to win the game. And then the Lakers beat the Rockets while they had Kevin Durant. KD was playing, and the Rockets still lost. Very concerning. But good performance for the Lakers. And if you get Reeves back or even Luka back, then the series has got to be over. The Lakers did what they had to do. They took both games at home, going back to Houston with a huge advantage there. And all three of the underdogs showed up ready to play yesterday, and they took it to the other team, and they won the game. And that's the common theme from yesterday as far as the NBA goes. Now, games today, two of them. The Magic at the Pistons. The Magic have a 1-0 series lead. And the Thunder host the Suns. The Thunder have a 1-0 series lead. I'm interested to see, are the Pistons going to respond to they had a lot of time to sit with the loss from Sunday. It's Wednesday now. So I want to see how they're going to play. And then as for the Thunder, as long as you don't do anything crazy, you're going to win the game, no problem. So that's basketball. Let's go over to hockey. A ton of stuff happened yesterday in hockey. Let's talk about it. The first game, the Tampa Bay Lightning at hosting the Montreal Canadiens. This game was unbelievable. The Lightning and the Habs, over 50 combined penalty minutes, 52 of them, multiple power play opportunities, and just so many hits. This game was so rough and physical. Like, you had basically every single skater in the penalty box at the same time. Like, there were 11 guys in the penalty box together at one point. Just huge fights, scrums all over the place, roughing all over the place. And the Lightning were able to win this game in overtime. Both games so far have gone to overtime. The Habs won game one, the Lightning won game two, 3-2 in overtime. If this is any indication for the rest of the series going to go, every single one of these games is going to be must-see TV, because not only are these teams just absolutely hitting the heck out of each other and they're fighting constantly, but the hockey is quality too. And we have two skate-off goals in the first two games. This is definitely, we said it coming in, and I'm going to continue to say it, this is the best series in the Eastern Conference. You got to see this. Anytime this is on, you got to watch it. Then the Bruins beat the Sabres 4-2. The question really was, can the Bruins play a complete game and hold them off? Ironically, when they went up 4-0, the Sabres once again scored goals in succession late in the third period. But this time the deficit was too much for them to overcome, so the Bruins won 4-2. The Brewers once again played 55 minutes of great hockey and then kind of let up. That's not something you can do if you're trying to win the series. But Sabres really controlled for most of the game. Even though they weren't shooting, they didn't outshoot them. They outhit them, and they scored in the power play, and they did a good job. Nice game for the Bruins. Buffalo, aside from the last 8 minutes of game one and the last 5 minutes of this game have not played necessarily well. So I think the Bruins definitely have the advantage and momentum going back to Boston with this win. Tied the series up at 1. You have the Mammoth and the Golden Knights. The Mammoth won in regulation. Cooley had the game-winning goal with 6 minutes left in the third, 3-2 final score. This is good for Utah, and I especially liked how Utah outshot Vegas, out-hit Vegas. They just did everything well. Um, they did everything well. So I really like this game from Utah, and they're going back to. This is the first win in Utah, first playoff win in Utah Mammoth history. So congrats to them. And I love how they beat Vegas. I like that a lot. Here's another interesting game. The Avalanche beat the Kings 2-1 in overtime. Um, why is this game in overtime? I really don't know. I guess because Forsberg had a nice game again, a really nice game. But yeah, I did not think Colorado played well in game one or game. They didn't play up to their standards in either game. Although they did outshoot them, they did outhit them. It's not it's not great when you're down and you have your first goal of the game. The best offense in the league, by the way, had their first goal of the game with 3 minutes left in the game, and then you have to take them to overtime. It's not it's not confidence inspiring to have the best record and you have the best team on paper, and yet the Kings are giving you a problem in both of the first two games, and it takes actual effort late to beat them. That's not what good teams do. Good teams blow out their opponents in the first round, and we have not seen that from the Colorado Avalanche. It is a little concerning. All right, and then the games for today, we'll wrap it up. The Penguins at the Flyers. This is the Flyers' first home game of the playoffs, and yet they lead the series 2-0. And then in Minnesota, the Stars and the Wild. Huge game three. Whoever wins this game will have the upper hand on the right foot. Massive game three for Minnesota. And then the Ducks and the Oilers. Game two. I'm gonna take the Flyers in game. I'm gonna take the Flyers. I'll take the Stars and I'll take the Oilers. And then as for basketball, I'm going to take the Pistons and the Thunder. I'll just take the home team. Well, actually, the Stars aren't the home team, but that's what's going on. We also have the NFL draft tomorrow. We unfortunately do not have time to talk about the NFL draft today. We have very little time to talk about tomorrow. I'm not really familiar with everything, but it is happening tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. And then as for MLB, the Giants and the Dodgers play at 6:45. That's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.